but she had quite a dark experience here, I think. I since found my mum and all my family all over the world, and
well, you wrote a memoir, My Name Is Why, and that led us into your early life. Did examining how you felt as a child help you write a children's book, do you think?
Well, Nikki, I know so many great children's writers: Michael Rosen, Michael Walpurgo, Jacqueline Wilson, Mallory Blackman. I mean, there are so many, and they are so skilled that I don't think I wanted to write this just because I had that experience, but I wanted to try to write the story of a child who had no family.
There are just a couple of nations in the world which are doing it. UK is one among them, but we realize the different nations have different capabilities, not talking even about the political will and just humanitarian sort of approach and then imparting their heart to those who are suffering right now. If you don't mind, Tom, I will stop here. I will be more than happy to reply to specific questions.
Thank you very much. May I just ask, what is your assessment at the moment of Russia's progress towards the extraordinary goals that President Putin seems to have set himself?
They managed to take over some of the thousand smaller towns and one of the regional centers. The aim is obvious. They are trying to get both land sort of access from their territory towards Crimea. The bigger plan is to have it all the way to Transnistria, where they support this unrecognized republic for many years with their 14th army in there, which will cut Ukraine out of sea completely, meaning all the South Russia, Odessa, and all of these places. Second priority they have is to supply water to Crimea. They already started stealing water from the major river. They blew the dam which was covering the canal from Dnieper River to Crimea. They are now trying to revive this canal. So this is where the most of the advance been done. On the north of Ukraine, the Kiev and Kharkiv, they are most endangered places, and they are starting both from their own border. We have border with them on the north, and from the territory of Belarus. The east of Ukraine, where these both unrecognized republics of Lugansk and Donetsk people's so-called republics, they're advancing on their own, but their advancement is rather symbolic. What I believe the Russians specifically cut for them, a part in the military advance, and they're mostly attacking Mariupol city, which is on the sea of Azov, big metallurgy sort of hub.
Now, we've seen reports this morning about children being killed and injured in many of these towns. Could you give us an update on how the medical services are managing to hold on?
Surprisingly, this part is doing quite well. I'm in constant contact with the Minister of Health. They're coordinating their efforts, but to realize how difficult the situation is, we have to have the full information from Ukraine. Some of these towns and cities are isolated. The supplies are still there, but nothing can return lives of the people who are already suffering. We found the softness in our hearts to treat the Russians wounded, and we're keeping them, and we promised everybody of them that they will be treated in our hospitals along with our own people, and then be returned to Russia after war is over.
And may I ask, what are the reports of civilian damage? We've seen certainly a very serious explosion, detonation of bombs in Kharkiv, and we've seen very serious damage in Kiev as well from the attack overnight. Do we know how many civilians have been killed and injured?
We just talked to people in the Kharkiv administration. They're still trying to get from under rubble the bodies and people wounded. In one attack on the military establishment, 70 people were killed in one building. So the losses are enormous. We were trying not to publicize these losses for obvious reasons. But civilian casualties, we will have update very soon. We'll be able to share it with you.
Thank you very much. Royston, you wanted to... Bob, sorry, go on.
Good morning, Ambassador. I hope you're well. Can I ask just 2 lines of questioning, if I may? Firstly, just to develop some of the points that were made there. There is going to be, or can you tell us there isn't going to be, a food crisis as the shops run out of food, potentially some pressure on looting, and if the major cities begin to run out of food, this is both a humanitarian crisis, but it is also potentially a military route to victory around the idea of Russia mounting what effectively are sloppy sieges of the major population centres until desperate and hungry people either come out onto the streets to try to fight them or give up in some form because there are no supplies. What is your opinion about those scenarios?
Thank you. I have some numbers which I will be able to share with you only in closed conversations, unfortunately, because that's exactly the purpose of Russians, which you very correctly picked up, that they will try to crush the will of the Ukrainian people to resist. So far, we're working, I'm asking even private citizens to send me pictures of the supermarkets, how shelves are doing, how water is supplied. We see problems with cash, for example, and people just running out of cash, and if we have interruption in the services, the bank terminals won't be working, and we will have to come with some, I don't know, military sort of solution to the distribution of food. Now I am working already with your government, and my embassies are working around the globe trying to reach out to humanitarian organizations. We have to pump up, if I may use this word, as much food as we can until all the routes are blocked. So far we're holding all the routes to west of the Ukraine. So we have a lifeline, but this is the bottleneck, very serious one. I'm just thinking if humanitarian ships will be allowed in Black Sea and in Sea of Azov, but we still have to explore this option.
So is the Russian strategy, do you think, to militarily defeat Ukraine or to starve and pressure its major cities until effectively a form of surrender?
I believe because of the lack of progress, and they hope that they will be able to show the superiority everywhere, and the Ukrainians will meet them with flowers. That would be the picture Putin will need on TV, explaining that they're actually not Ukrainians, but some mystical Nazis who are fighting with them, and the rest of Ukraine is greeting them with flowers, which is not happening. People are throwing the Molotov cocktails from their car, passing by Russian tanks. So all of this, all hands-on support and resilience is going so much against his plans. And people in Russia themselves start asking questions, what are we doing there and why? So I believe they might use the tactics which you described in the second part. Try to block our cities, try to soften political position, try maybe some riots in Ukraine because of the lack of food against the government. In some cities, we introduced the martial law, if you know, and some of the cities, looters have been ordered to be shot on the spot, where there are people which take advantage of very difficult situations, and we're dealing with them in military ways. Sorry.
Okay. So when it comes to sort of civil breakdown, it's not an either or with arms or food, but it's an and. You need arms and you need food. And just one more slightly general question. How generalized do you think is the fighting? Because the media tends to focus on the most visible. Is it the case that much Russian armor, because it's been moving across the countryside and more sparsely populated areas, is sort of pushing into open space, finding little resistance until it comes to larger towns and cities, and then coming into fibula, so fighting in built-up areas, it then begins to face problems from anti-tank weapons, RPGs, and small arms fire. Is that an accurate assessment?
Very accurate. We have 1,110 kilometers of Belarusian border, 400 with unrecognized republics, and almost 700 with Russian Federation. So there are thousands of kilometers of border, which is very difficult to defend. So we are not, stretching our forces to defend lines of front. Instead, what we are trying to do, we are trying to defend major cities. Kharkiv and Kiev have symbolic meaning to Putin. It's not even important strategic site, but both. One is Kiev is obviously a cradle of Orthodoxy, and all, even word Rus, as you know, came from Kiev Rus. So this is symbolically very important. Kharkiv, they're just using the same textbooks they used from 1918 when they couldn't take Kiev. I mean, Bolsheviks at that time, they took to Kharkiv. They announced Kharkiv People's Ukrainian Republic with the new capital of Kharkiv. As soon as Kiev fell, they moved the capital back to Kiev. So I believe that's one of the scenarios. I don't want to, give them a hint, but I believe they're already doing it. What we are trying to do, we are using the tactics, mobile groups, which are burning down their tanks, and we have more than, I will be able to update the figures, but we have more than 200 tanks, more than 700 trucks. Trucks is very important because they have to supply their everything. The anti-air, the armored vehicles, the armored personnel vehicles, all of them will be used quite successfully, both Enlavs and Javelins, and also our rockets ourselves. We use Bayraktars, and we'll be happy to use any support, air support we can now ask for, and can use our own assets.
Sorry, just on that point, do you mind if I continue?
Just, Royce wants to come in. Are you going to be very quick?
Yeah, just on the Turkish drones, I think there's confusion as to how many you've got. Did you buy enough? How many are being used? How effective they are? And do you have any other launching of drones apart from the Turkish drones?
No, we don't have attack drones. We start producing our so-called kamikaze drones, but we are not in operation yet. And we use reconnaissance drones different from different nations. But the attacking capability is in Bayraktars. We need more, and Turkey is supplying, but we are still far from being able to use them effectively. We will do it, but the scale is not there. We have enough operators which are now trained and being trained in Turkey itself.
Thank you.
Thanks, Royce.
Thank you for joining us this morning, Ambassador. No one can doubt that Ukraine has been invaded by a despot, and no one, even in their right mind, would believe that Russia has any legitimate reason to do so. But this needs to end, and it needs to end as quickly as it can, and that may well be through negotiated settlement of one way or another. Can you update us as far as you're able on what you know about the negotiations that have already taken place, and what is your assessment on what Russia wants to get out of those negotiations, if in fact they do?
Thank you. You've probably seen that we sat yesterday at negotiation table. As my personal opinion, professional one, I was negotiating Minsk before, so I understand what they are doing. They are rather preparing the picture, right political picture for everybody that Ukrainians are giving up, sitting at the table. We sent a very serious delegation on the top, which was headed by Minister of Defense. You can imagine for this fighting nation to send their own minister for negotiations. We're trying to show how serious we are. Unfortunately, Russians are using the same leader of this group as it was negotiating 8 years with us, the Minsk agreements, Grizlov. So what they are doing, they're more or less bringing us back to the table of negotiations for the fate of these runaway republics, instead of discussing with us the war they are waging on us right now. But Russians already made it so complicated, they already recognize their independence, so there is not much to discuss. They want 4 things which they already put on the table. One, Ukraine is recognizing the Crimea, that the Crimea is Russian territory. Second, they want to recognize 2 of these runaway republics. 3, we change our constitution and strike out NATO and EU out of it, and everything else. Simplest things like federalization and everything. And 4, they wanted Ukraine to demilitarize. I don't even know what they mean by that. As of now, the delegations, the sides are so far from each other that that's very difficult. We just stated our positions and went back to our capitals.
Thank you. Okay, I understand that they've not been reasonable in any of this, so I don't suppose we should be surprised that they're not reasonable in any negotiations either. But what can the West do to try and get Putin to change his calculations on Ukraine? What can we do to get him? I mean, in everything that we do, politically and everything else, you know, when the time comes, we're looking for a ladder to come down. You know, what can we do to maybe give him that opportunity to back out?
Thank you. Thank you for asking in this way. I had yesterday and before yesterday a couple of dozens of people here, big brains, experts, to ask the same question. And frankly speaking, we came with nothing. Because as of now, he doesn't need anything, he doesn't want anything. He's threatening you, rather not even us, but you, with the raised alertness of his strategic nuclear weapons, which is totally ungrounded, but that's what because he believes, I guess, that you are getting more and more serious, I mean, you West. So he wanted to, to preemptively tell you that, don't get here, Ukraine this war is under my command, and you stay away. I believe that's the point when we actually break his plans. Because other than that, we do not see anything he will need from us or from anybody. The only soft spot he still has is his own population. The circle around him, we don't believe that they're self-sufficient or risky enough to tell him no. From the pictures of his National Security Council meetings and his parliament, we can conclude that there are none in his, at least publicly, will be able to tell him anything. Maybe somebody is advising, we don't see these people, we don't know who is in charge there.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. We're going to have to leave it there, but look, thank you very much indeed. Sorry, Ambassador, thank you very much indeed for your time. It's extremely well received. And please do keep us informed as matters develop.
Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you. Order, we're going to have to...
So that was the ambassador, the Ukrainian ambassador to the UK, who was speaking to the Foreign Affairs Select.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
Uganda and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7. At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. We don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Are you ready to turn it up?
This is Starr Radio UK.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, You know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Hey there, this is Archie. Starr Radio UK. Okay, let me say a massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. And those of you on other planets as well, I say hello. Welcome and a happy new month to each and every one of you. Today is the first day of March, the year 2022. With the time now 10:44 from the hearts of London, and it's the Starr Radio UK morning show. I'm so excited now. You see, I've even have a cough. But it's nice to come your way once again. A new day, a new dawn. It doesn't matter what is going on. You are able to make it. It go happen. From Nana Manuel. Okie dokie do. It's now 10:44, so let's crack on. Now let me say good morning to my colleagues, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. Olayomi, Kojo D, Felix all the way in Aberdeen, and to our able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. And to all our wonderful listeners across the globe, from the US, from the the US, Canada, South America, to Europe, to Asia, to Australia, to the African continent, and wherever you are listening to us from, I say a massive good morning to you and welcome to today's edition of the morning show. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Okay, so if it's the first time of tuning in to listen to us, on what do you call it, on Tuesday, this is how the program goes.
I just trusted chariots, but we have your name, oh Lord. Have faith in God, lean not on your own understanding. One more time, hey. Have faith in God, lean not on your own understanding. Everybody say, it go happen. It go happen. If I don't say it go happen, certainly. If I say it go happen, if I don't say it go happen, it go happen. Certainly. If I don't say it go happen, if I say it go happen, it go
the producers told me that, well, my camera seemed to have frozen. And therefore, they were trying to sort it out for me, and that's why I was quiet for that bit. But, well. I think it's all done now, so we are up and running. Well, it go happen. Okay, so as I said earlier on, I'm going to bring the quote to the day. The weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update. We'll move on from there to have a look at the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as the Global Trotting. Then exactly at 11 o'clock, we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Kwaki, who will be joining you to bring you updates from Nigeria. Then after that, we'll continue with the conversation. The lines are open exactly at 12 o'clock for you to add your voice to the discussions. But before then, if you want to add your take, you can post it on our Facebook page, and I promise you I'm going to read that. Well, some breaking news coming from Nigeria. So worried for president. Now we're talking about what the former president said. Says that, well, they need to be, the old people should leave the scene and allow the younger ones to do it. Well, so Sowore says, I'm going to be part of it. The last election he stood, and was it the third force? Well, but now he finds himself in incarceration or being restricted in the federal capital. But he's saying, well, I'm going to be running for it. What impediments are they going to put its way? Do you think it's made enough grounds to actually this time round make a big impact? We'll be looking at all that when it comes to updates from Nigeria. It's now 10:47 from the House of London. Moving on straight. After that, yes. Yeah, don't worry. Continue to enjoy me like that. The technical team are working on the image, the cameras. So let me quickly bring you that. Now, the quote for the day said, God gave you something that when discovered and harnessed will bring you into a place of influence and then affluence. Let me take it again. It's quite an interesting one. God gave you something that when discovered and harnessed will bring you into a place of influence and then affluence. I'm sorry you can't see me now, but don't you worry, you'll be seeing me pretty soon. Now while the technical team are still working, let me quickly bring you the weather front. What is happening on the weather forecast? Yeah, for London and the southeast of England, this is how the weather is going to be for you today. Woke up with a bit of rain here and there. Now this afternoon will continue dull and damp. Rain will become widespread and persistent in places. Now this evening and overnight we'll see cloudy and wet conditions continue. Rain will be persistent at first, but will gradually taper out to spell by dawn. A mild night is expected. The top temperature is going to be exactly 9 degrees and the lower is going to be 7 degrees. Sunset 1740 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 0647 hours. UV level low, pollution low. So that is by way of the weather forecast. Okay, so we're crossing straight to the travel update. Stay tuned, don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check it out. Keep your eyes on the road. Anything that you will never do. Keep your eyes on the road. Check it out.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads, I'll keep you navigated. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio Travel Up there. I can see where we did from 10:40. It's now 10:50. Now, on the underground, apart from the central line that is partly suspended, and the district line that is partly suspended, all the others are suspended. Okay, due to strikes. The TFL Rail DLR line is rambling in good service. London Overground has also got reduced service, so check before you leave. Now moving on straight to the river bus, I can tell you shortly, apart from the Woolwich Railway that is has got special service, all the others have got good service. Now, on the national rail, cross country has got special service, Great Western Railway special service, and Southern special service there as well. But keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads, so we'll keep you navigated, I promise I've won. Now, moving on to the final segment of the travel update, that's the major roads in London. A20 has got closures, A316 closures, A4 closures, Central London Red Routes closures, A13 serious delays, A2 serious delays, and Blackwall Tunnel serious delays there as well. Also, we've got North Circular, A406 serious delays. So if you can avoid that, avoid that. If not, you're starting there, continue to listen to us, and I promise you, as and when there are any changes, we'll bring you to the fore. But on that note, let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
If I no say it go happen, as God say it go do then if I no say it go happen, it go happen, it go happen. If I no say it go happen, as God say it go do then if I no say, everybody say.
Okay, welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time down to 5 minutes to the top of the hour. The technical team were working assiduously on the image and they got it now. So let's crack on. But share the progress with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, top on the agenda. Well, newsmaker making the rounds. Now, the Prime Minister on his visit to the Baltics says that, Putin is using barbaric tactics. That's what Boris Johnson is saying. Russia's president has underestimated Ukraine and the West's resolve, says Prime Minister as he meets allies.
I'll take it again.
And highest rail fare rise in 9 years takes effect. My goodness. What more can people take? Oh goodness. But it go happen. It go happen. And MPs have rejected proposal to make misogyny a hate crime. The government argued that amendment to a crime bill risks damaging women's safety. Now what is your take on that? And as I said earlier on, with some of the discussion we're going to be having from Nigeria, top of the agenda, sorry for President 2023. What do you think are his chances now? Has he become more famous and appealing to voters? Well, you want to know more? Stay tuned. We'll be having Mr. Olayomi joining in the next few minutes. Okay, now moving on to the war front. Missiles hit center of Ukraine, second biggest city. Video show a massive blast as Kharkiv administrative building in Freedom Square is targeted. Well, international stories are saying that Russia is committing war crimes. Ukraine leaders say President Vladimir Zelensky spoke out after dozens of civilians reportedly killed in Kharkiv. Some information coming through is also saying that, Russians are beginning to feel the pain or the pinch of the sanctions. Russians are starting to feel the effects of sanctions aimed at punishing the country for invading Ukraine. Now, Ukraine-based Ghanaian students back home. The government says hundreds more are en route to Ukraine's neighboring countries, and their arrival or their departure or their flight is being facilitated by government to see to it that they arrive there safely. Well, Museveni's son supports Russia invasion of Ukraine. General Ken Rugaba says the majority of mankind that are non-white support Russia stance in Ukraine. So if you are not a white, a Caucasian, do you support that statement? Well, let us know. It'll be quite interesting. But the way they are treating blacks, what do you think about it? Well, but Nigeria is here to start repatriating stranded citizens. The flights will carry citizens who have crossed from Ukraine borders to neighboring countries. And Burkina Faso junta adopts 3-year transition plan. Would that appease the that body that's ECOWAS in the sub-Saharan Africa? Okay, so we're gonna be looking more into that story as well. Wildlife was saga. Government lavish 1.068 million of Ghana cedis for one vote. Okujacha Blakwa is saying. NDEC is petitioning Commonwealth. So we will petition international, Amnesty International AU over treatment to our members. NDC is saying. So what has happened there? We're looking more into those stories. It is Starr Radio UK. I think I'm enjoying this music this morning. I hope you're also enjoying it. In a few seconds will be 11 o'clock exactly. But one other story that we'll be looking at, a wicked, horrible e-levy, the only way out of Ghana to USAs. So what can Ghanaians do if it's inevitable that's the only way forward? The only way out is e-levy. Yawa. Okay, we'll be looking into that. It is Starr Radio UK. Okay, so enjoy the rest of the music whilst I wait for Mr. Olayomi to join in. And it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Certainly.
24/7.
Yeah, why can't I not pay? I'm taking it again. Oh, yo, nyami on the atro. Oh, yo, nyami on the yamon. Wow, rush anymore. Yeah, why can't I not pay? Wow, rush anymore. Yeah, why can't I not pay? You gon' see, you gon' see, it gon' shock you.
This is Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK. This is the morning show with Archie.
Why am you? All I say. Why am you? Hey. Say why am you? Why am you? Do you believe it? Say why am you?
Afternoon exactly at 1:30 we'll be having BB Clement on BB Means Business. Listen. So you join her exactly at a time. So coming away from Starr Radio UK, where we bring you the best tailored measured programs to meet your needs. Once again, welcome to the show. Whilst we wait for Mr. Olayomi to join in. Wish your neighbor a happy new month on my behalf. Let me say a special good morning to Amaya Jeragene. Good morning, sir. Hope you are doing well. Well, Starr Radio UK, I think I've got now Mr. Olayomi who has joined us all the way from our North London studios. I remember one thing for sure, it go happen. No matter the impediments that people pull your way or authorities pull your way, somewhere, somehow, human beings, we are so resilient and we are able to make it. So be rest assured, somewhere, as I'm saying, somewhere, somehow, as I'm saying, you will come through it. But once again, welcome to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And as I said yesterday, since yesterday we having Mr. Olayomi on, but you will not have the visual, okay? You will have a still image. Yeah, you will have a still image of him, okay? Pictures, not visual, video. Okay, so just bear with us whilst we sort few things out. That is why we are doing that. But let me say a massive good morning to you, Yomi. Good morning. Hello, Yomi. Okay, I think his line is dropped. Let's see. We'll get him back. But wherever you are, don't you go away. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. It is Starr Radio UK. As I said, exactly at 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to also add your voice to the discussions wherever you might be. The first day of March, the year 2022. Everybody! With the time now exactly 11:05. And I can say hand on heart that I've got Mr. Olayomi who has joined in. And I say, Yomi, good morning to you. Hello, Yomi. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yomi, just bear with me. Let's see. Hello, Yomi. Okay, Yomi, let me call you. Yeah, let me call you. All right then. Well, listeners, Starr Radio UK. Okay, he says he can hear me, but I don't seem to be hearing you. Okay, Yomi, just bear with me. Let me see. Hello, Yomi. Okay, I can't hear him. I don't understand that. What's all that about? Okay. Yomi? Hello? Okay. Yomi, let me call you back. I will call you back. Yeah? I will call you back. Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Continue to enjoy the music. And yes, we'll get Miss Olayomi Kwaiki back.
Everybody, it go happen. Certainly. Listen. Some trusting.
Okay, let's see. Yomi, can you hear me? Okay, don't worry. Yesterday there were some updates that was done. So let me call you. I'm going to call you back. Yeah, I'm going to call you on the other line. Please. Thank you.
I'll take it again. Some trusting horses, I just trusted chariots, but we have your name, oh Lord. Have faith in God, lean not on your own understanding. One more time, hey. Have faith in God, lean not on your own understanding. 1, 2, everybody say, it go happen. If I don't say it go happen, certainly. If I say it go happen, if I don't say it go happen, it go happen, certainly. If I don't say it go happen, if I say it go happen, it go happen, certainly. It doesn't matter what you're going through. Hold on. It doesn't matter what you're going through. Trust in God.
Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite. Okay, let me see. Oh wow. Listeners, just bear with us. Some setup was updates were done yesterday, and I think it has changed the settings, so just bear with us.
Alright, let's do this part of Alright, say
listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. My apologies for that confusion in the sound that is coming through. But at this juncture, I think we've got Mr. Olayomi, so I'll be going straight to him. We apologize for that because there was some upgrades done yesterday, and I think that might have affected the communications there. Okay, listeners, it is Starr. Okay, just bear with me. It seems I'm getting a feedback. Yomi, am I getting a feedback from your end? I think we've got Mr. Olayomi, so I'll be going straight to him. We apologize for that because there was some upgrades done yesterday. I think I know what it might be. The communications there.
There's a bit of sound from downstairs.
Okay. Okay, listeners, it is Starr. Okay, just bear with me. It seems I'm getting a feedback. Yomi, am I getting a feedback from your end? Okay, drop your sound and call me back on the line that I've just called you on, please. Okay, listeners, my apologies for that. It seems that. Okay, interesting. Interesting one. Wow. Okay, let me see. Wow. Okay. All right, let's see whether we can get Yomi here now. Let's see. Okay. Hello, Yomi. Okay, interesting one. Wow. Okay, let me see. Wow. All right, listeners, we're taking a break. We're taking a commercial break, and we'll be with you. Let the technical team sort this out for us. Okay, then. Here now. Let's see.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 73 77 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Okay, welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. Let's see whether I can use the old way to sort this out. So, Yomi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Very loud and clear. I can hear you back from here.
Okay. Listeners, the sound might not be that clear, but just bear with me whilst we have this time. The technical team will sort it out, but because it's now time for updates from Nigeria, it's now 18 minutes past the top of the hour, and it is the Tuesday edition of the morning show, the first day of the month of March, the year 2022. So, how are you doing, sir?
Very good. I'd like to say good morning once again to all our listeners and viewers from around the globe, and welcome to Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. 18 minutes past, like you said.
Yes. Okay, now let's first and foremost, the students in Ukraine, have there been any updates from that? Has any of them arrived in Nigeria at the moment? We know there are others who are saying they'd rather stay there and rather than coming to Nigeria. Now, what is the update? A bit of update from there, and then we can move on to the stories making the rounds in Nigeria today. Over to you, sir.
Well, the foreign minister, Mr. Geoffrey Oyeme, was speaking actually yesterday, with series of, interview. But what I can say is that the federal government says, from tomorrow, Wednesday, there will be airlift of Nigerians. About 2,000 of them, evacuation will begin from Wednesday. So, according to the federal government, we will from tomorrow begin the evacuation of about almost 2,000 Nigerians who have fled the war in Ukraine to neighboring countries. This information was given to us by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyeme, who disclosed this during the interview in Nigeria yesterday. He also revealed that the president that is also on his way to London, as we can now confirm that the president is also coming on a medical break. We will be discussing that in just about a few minutes. That the president, Muhammadu Buhari, has now approved funds for the airline to evacuate Nigerians. When he was asked if the numbers of evacuees were about 2,000 and when the evacuation was replaced, he did say that would definitely take place tomorrow by Air Peace and Max Air as well. He said there are about 8,000 Nigerians in Ukraine, 5,000 of whom were students, adding that the federal government had tipped Air Peace and Air Max to elect the Nigerians who want to evacuate. Definitely, we do know from the last conversation that it doesn't seem that everybody would like to leave the war zone. Some might want to stay back, but I don't know whether those that want to stay back might also have the opportunity based on whatever permit that they do have, because remember, the situation as it is also means that, if they are already in those countries, in the neighboring countries, maybe they will be allowed to stay or not is a question that they would have to consider.
Yeah. Listeners, Mr. Olayomi, for you, and that's updates from and the students who have been stranded and Nigerian citizens who have been stranded in the Russia-Ukraine crisis that is going on at the moment. But it is already UK. Let's move on to some of the stories making the rounds. Now, you did touch on this, so let's go on that first. The president visiting the UK for medical checkup.
Yes, that has now been confirmed that the president Muhammadu Buhari will depart for 2 weeks medical checkup here in London. The question is going to be on the minds of millions of Nigerians is, what actually have gone wrong in terms of, the Aso clinic and the billions and the millions of dollars that have been spent to equip it, that makes the president of a country to depart outside the country for medical attention or medical treatment. Up to now, we don't know the ailment that is wrong with the president since he came onto the country as the president in 2015. He has made multiple trips to London, but we can confirm that President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to depart today for a 3-day official visit to Nairobi, Kenya, from where he will proceed to London, the United Kingdom, for a routine medical check that may last 2 weeks. According to the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, in release disclosed that President Muhammadu Buhari medical checkup in UK will last a maximum of 2 weeks. He said from Kenya, President Buhari will proceed to London for a routine medical checkup. We do know, like I said, that this is not the first time that the president will be traveling down to London for treatment, but the question remains is, how good is the medical system in Nigeria that the president can no longer have that treatment in Nigeria?
Well, interestingly, some will say that, the president started having his medical treatment here in the UK for a very long time, so it's not currently that he started anything of the sort, so we should let sleeping dogs lie. But if I am a Nigerian and I'm having the same ailment or suffering from the same ailment that the president is suffering from, and he has the privilege to come to the UK to come and do that, what measures have they put in place to sort out our medical system back home so that I can also at least have something to be to also fall on? What about that? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. Mr. Olayomi Kwaki in North London studios. Once again, I apologize for the sound, but just bear with us. There was a technical upgrade yesterday, and I think that might have turned a few things here and there. But hey, we are still here. Where there is a will, there is a way. Okay, so now let's move on to the stories making the rounds this morning. The Sowore has thrown his hat into the ring for the 2023 elections.
Yes, that is the news, and I'm just actually on his Twitter handle, and we've been following some of those developments back in Abuja, where Sowore is actually declaring himself to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So he has actually thrown his ring into it as well. Let's see if we can get just about a few seconds or 2 or 1 minute of what must have been said, because that actually took place just about half an hour ago, where according to him, today in Abuja at 12 noon, I will be declaring my intention to run for the position of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Women Development Center opposite Central Bank in Abuja. So let's see if we can pick something, because there's quite a lot that I can say. Numbers of people in that venue, with Sowore poster, but I'm not sure if the event has already kick-started, because this is actually coming from his Facebook page. But at the moment, I could see more of the youth, mostly in that venue, all full. But like I said, we will continue to monitor that. But we will definitely, have him at some point, when it's probably settled down, so that we can get a little bit from him as well. But yes, as you can see, it now seems that Sowore with the others have also now say, and this coming from his Twitter page, if you're sick and tired of the old brigade, come join me today in Abuja at 12 noon. I'll be declaring my intention to run for the position of the president.
What do you think is going to be his chances, though?
Well, the question is, Nigerians will have to decide whether, for those, like I always say, because we now have a different mixed bags of different people that want different things. When you call the name Nigeria, you got to remember that we still have those that want the restructuring of the country so that things can be settled properly, rather than the way it is right now after the independence in 1960. We have those that believe that the 1999 military decree constitution that have been put on millions of Nigerians must be pulled out before a new election. And likewise, we have those that believe that it is time now to demand an independent country out of Nigeria. But yes, you still have those that still believe that things can turn around in Nigeria and things can also favor them. But whether they will give Sowore the opportunity, it's something that we've got to look into. Remember, this is going to be the second time that he will be contesting. He did try it in 2019, but nobody voted for him. Rather, they voted for the APC. And 6 years down the line, I'm sure more Nigerians will continue to ask the question whether they want the old brigade, like Sowore say, or they want somebody more younger, as we can say, most other countries around the globe. If you look at Macron as the president, you look at Trudeau, you realize that they're probably almost the same age with Omoyele Sowore.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Let's see what happens there. You can pass your comments or post your comments on our Facebook page, and I promise I'm going to read that. Let's look at what Amayo has said. It's a war in Ukraine, yet they still have access to electricity, gas, communication networks. But Nigeria, in her 61 years, do not have reliable communication networks, electricity, and gas supply. Okay, it goes on further to say, Russian president says Africa is a cemetery because African presidents goes abroad for medical tourism, but when they die, they are buried in Africa. How true is that story? I tell you honestly. Well. They want to come there so that we can celebrate them, isn't it? All right then, Yomi, let's come back to you for some of the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Well, yes, sir. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Archie. 11:27. As we now go into more other headline coming out of Nigeria. Communication between yesterday there was a video that trend and is already on the social media where some of the students in Port Harcourt actually came out. Remember, we did talk about it, whether some of them will be coming out because of the what we called the protest and the roadblock that they talked about. But yes, I saw a video that where we can say that the military were trying to just as usual harass these students that are out on the road. But yes, there is not yet any headway when it comes to, the conversation between whether the student will come out in their masses. But I'm just trying to pick up that video. Yes, I've got the video here. So you can see, this is the National Association of the Nigerian Students, the Cross River chapter, in clash with the Nigerian military after staging a protest with the Calabar Metropole. The Nigerian military force threatened to shoot at the peaceful, unarmed Nigerian students who protest against ASU strike. So, like I said, we will continue to monitor that. That has not yet come down further to the southwest or more into some other areas, but giving more of those details as well. So these are the other headlines that I would like to tell you this morning. Nigeria, 993.38 billion naira import from Russia at risk over the war. So this also means that, as so many part of the globe is putting sanction on Russia, as so many part of the globe is closing their airspace for Russians. Also, Nigerians is also going to be affected according to this headline. So let's go into it. The value of Russia import to Nigeria over 12-month period is estimated to about 993.38 billion according to the data from the National Bureau of Statistics have shown. Specifically, the NBS statistics put the value of imports from Russia between the third quarter of 2020 and the corresponding period in 2021 at 993.38 billion naira. Russia is among the Nigerian top 10 import trade partners between the third quarter of 2020 and the corresponding period in 2021. However, the 993.38 billion trade is at risk as the Russia and Ukraine war persists. Within the period under review, Nigeria import 4 main items that Nigerians might probably want to know this morning from Russia, namely durum, wheat, herrings, blue wheat tins, and mackerel, according to the report. The question then is, can we do these things in Nigeria if we have the policy, we have the enabling environment? Wheat can be grown in almost every part of Nigeria, but because we have already, the terrorists that have already become invaders of each of the territory in Nigeria, will not allow that to happen. Mackerel is fish. We have, the good ocean, but most of them, especially in Niger Delta, has been damaged because of the environmental damage of the crude oil that the late environmentalist the Ogoni that was killed. As we speak today, the cleanup is still not there. So these are the questions that Nigeria has still become an import country rather than an export country, and that will make the naira to become more weaker on a daily basis. In the Q3 of 2020, durum wheat worth about 46.56 billion naira, and the mackerel worth about 13.76 billion naira, the blue wheat things worth about 1.57 billion naira, were all imported from Russia. And the question again is, how do these provide jobs to Nigerians when almost everything that we are eating, from the mackerel to the wheat, are already imported into the country? Let's go back to more headline before I make it back again to you in the studio. Once again, still a lot. Uroma robbery. Obaseki met Edo security aid. We do know that there's a lot of robbery, there's a lot of atrocity, of criminality happening almost in every part of the country. But the Edo State Director, according to the Edo State Governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, on Monday met with the head of security agency to strengthen the state security architect and ensure that those behind the recent armed robbery and killings in Oromi, SN Northeast Local Government Council, are arrested and brought to book. Remember that in that particular state, 4 banks were all raided according to information on the video that we saw. The question is, how managed could these kind of crime be committed in a broad daylight, and yet as we speak right now, nobody has been arrested? We do know that the youth were able to chase part of those armed robbers. They left some of the money behind, but again, nobody yet has been arrested for that particular crime. So I'm going to come back slightly back again to you in the studio because of time factor. Is exactly 11:39 a.m. It is still Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, for you bringing you updates from Nigeria. Once again, I apologize for the sound there. Now, interestingly, countries that produce wheat or that grows wheat, Nigeria is there, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Tanzania, South Africa, Ethiopia, Sudan, Kenya. They are the countries that produce. So, as Yomi is saying, now with the ban of trade sanctions and everything that is against Russia, I think it's about time that the government of Nigeria sits down and say, okay, what do we do now? Well, how do we protect our people so that they can go, the farmers can go to the farms and till the land and get a wheat grown, and then that billions of dollars that we buy of wheat that we buy, we can buy it from our own backyard and make that money, keep that money in that country. Are they thinking about anything of the sort? That is one thing that I know for sure that they never do. But it's All Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, Yomi, let's move on to some other stories, sir.
Yes, let's just slightly, move again to say more of the headline as more people will be affected one way or the other, especially with the development that is still having a big impact when we talk about the crisis happening on the borderline of Ukraine. Like I said, we were meant to bring in, one of the fundraiser and the organizer of the funding raiser in UK for those Africans and Caribbean, but maybe we might have her properly tomorrow during the Niger Voices, so that we can be able to get more from her. But we'll be discussing that further with them because they still seem to be very, very busy at the moment. NNPC confirms IOC exit, insists on gas development is this particular headline. According to the NNPC General Manager Nelly Kayari, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited on Monday insisted that it will continue to develop Nigerian gas resources despite the exit of international oil companies from the country due to the global push for energy transition and net carbon zero target. The question then is, why do we have the exit of international oil companies from the country? Could it be what they know that we do not know, or could there be a threat that is already, of something that we've got to be concerned? According to the NNPC Group Managing Director Meli Kayari, disclosed this in Abuja at the ongoing Nigeria International Energy Summit 2022 with the team revitalizing the industry, future fuels and energy transition. I'm sure they've done so much of this kind of engagement that have not literally been fruitful to anyone that I can talk about. Again, as we continue, not the very good news, as terrorists adopted construction workers, burned vehicles in Niger community. Just yesterday, remember, Mr. Archie, we were discussing about those that were kidnapped during the wedding ceremony, and multiple people were killed. But again, this headline coming on the 1st of March 2022, this morning, terrorists went on the rampage again in Niger State community, adopting 2 construction workers and many others, burned down vehicles. The terrorists also in the early hours of Tuesday blocked the ever busy Suleja Mina Road, causing confusion among the motorists. The 2 construction workers were adopted from their camp along Lambert Eason Road just around 4:30 p.m. on Monday when the gunmen raided the facility. The nationalities of those kidnapped are unknown, but it was that the gunmen tied the hands of the other construction workers behind their backs before beating them mercilessly, after which they escaped with the deal. So the question again is, how do these international community feel comfortable to invest in any part of Nigeria when Nigeria still remains the capital poverty of the world, that they are trying to probably support to make sure that we can elevate people to give them job and they probably be able to get paid. But when there's also a country that still remains the 3rd, according to the Global Terrorism Index, the terrorism country in the global community. Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Well, listeners, interesting all the time, the stories that you hear from them. Now, do you think that maybe if during this 2023 election, if it happens, now, do you think that maybe some of the candidates can use the fight against insurgency, or call it terrorists, to be their mantra for their campaign? Do you think that will get people reassured and then vote for them to come into power?
Well, one of the tools that was used, against the Jonathan government was the insecurity in the land, and that, a lot of Nigerians bought into that. They were told that, Buhari, as a former military general, that has the skills and the expertise. But this time around, as so many of them that are already in the ring, Atiku hasn't declared yet, but we've seen, Showore saying that he also is going to be putting his head into that as well. Whether Nigerians, gullible enough to believe them, or they will probably want to drill them a little bit more further in how and ways that they will be able to tackle this insurgency of terrorism that have become a big problem and is having impact on the daily lives of millions of Nigerians, not just those that are traveling on the road, but those that could have been providing the food that millions of Nigerians should have been eating. If Nigeria was meant to be a working system, Benue State was meant to be the food basket of the country and also to support all other neighboring countries. But as we speak from this headline that we said this morning, almost everything still being imported into Nigeria today.
Well, listeners, it is updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios, and I'm actually here in our South studios. Okay, now let's go to the social media platform and if there are any other stories making the round, sir.
Yes, the social media continue to be full of the situation, especially, the situation. I mean, Buhari is jetting out when we have Nigerians that are stuck, somewhere in Ukraine border, trying to make their way back home. But what are Nigerians saying with some of all the development that seems to be like the world is coming to an end? So, like I said, Nigerians in Ukraine is still actually trending, this morning. Nigerians also staged a protest in Abuja over the Russian invasion of Ukraine. That shows that, the whole club of the world, just as people are saying, the situation still very, very. According to African Voice Television, breaking news, take us to another country or you leave us to die, and Nigerians in Ukraine reject coming back to Nigeria. This is about 3 hours ago. Again, we do know that, like I said, evacuation is going to be starting from tomorrow, according to the foreign, minister that told us that. Again, in Romania, about 256 Nigerians have arrived there as well. So quite a lot of different, story coming out. Discrimination, apatomia, trekking for hours as Nigerians continue to narrate their ordeal in this crisis that seems to have now engulfed, bigger as we might have thought about in just about 2 weeks ago. Russian invasion, why Poland is turning Nigeria playing Ukraine back at their border. Travel Agents Union spoke about that as well. So again, I'm going to take one more. This is coming from, Nafirati at First Lady. While Adamu made a fool of himself, Nance finally redeemed themselves. This is the first time I heard the name of the Minister of Education. Nigerians used to know the names of ministers on Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan watch. Now, nepotism have destroyed everything. First, second, the rubber stamp National Assembly will vote for the proposal to grant life pension and immunity to the Senate President, the Speaker, and their deputies. The people representing you are working overtime to undermine your quest democracy. Will you accept this? So that is Starr Radio UK. I'm going to come back again now to you in the studio.
Well, listeners, that is Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you, bringing you updates from Nigeria, and you find it all. Now, you want to share with us what do you think about it? You want to put your comments, feel free to do so, but the lines will be opened in the next 18 minutes for you to add your voice to the discussions if you have to call in. But just bear with us. As I said earlier on, we're having some technical issues there, but thank you very much for coping or tolerating that as well. So, Yomi, before you go.
Well, the best way to make sure that you know what is happening, especially across the globe, is to stay tuned on Starr Radio UK so that you can be able to know when and how the situation is developing across the globe. I'll be back again same time tomorrow, but for now, I say have a very good morning.
Okay, good morning to you, and thank you very, very much. Well, listeners, that was Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 11:43. Let's take a music break, and then we'll continue with the show, but that will be after this commercial break. Stay tuned, don't you go away.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
But you were afraid to ask, how do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Come to play every single day. Money come my way. Money come my way. Never cross my lane. Every day I pray. Yenti who dead day. If you say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind your business. If you say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind your business. When me a day me fire gun. Where uno day you know fi run. Can you know where we from? Can you know where we from? Negative energy stay away. We know the thief only hustle for bread. What are they do no be your matter. If I they spend no be your kwacha. Jawe he the best music. Where are they get plenty. Money. Find girl with a big body. Jawe he the best music. Where are they get plenty. Money. Find girl with a big body. If you say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind your business. If you say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind your business. Testing, I'm shaking it, give me one small chance. I'm making it.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Two small boys with many. It no be by force, so your problem is not my cause. No time there for us, so we are searching for the contract. Me I need that money.
All around the world.
Working all day. Me I need that money. money. I'm working all day, working all day, all day. Say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind your business, oh. If you say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind go day day. Money come my way, money come my way. Never cross my lele. Every day I dey pray. Yenti who dead day, yenti who dead day. If you say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind your business, oh. If you say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind your business, oh. Hey, when me a dey me fire gun, where uno dey you know fi run. Can you know where we from? Can you know where we from? Negative energy stay away. We know the thief only hustle for bread. What are they do? No be your matter. If I they spend, no be your kwacha. Jawe, he the best music.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Money, money, money. Find girl with a big body. Jawe, he the best music. Where are they? Are they get plenty? Money,
all around the world.
Find girl with a big body. If you say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind your business, oh. If you say
all around the world,
I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind your business, oh.
This is Starr Radio UK.
I'm making it, the bar thing. We are raising it, two small boys with many. It no be by force, so your problem is not my cause. No time there for us, so we are searching for the cash. Me I need that money. I'm working all day, working all day. Me I need that money. I'm working all day, working all day. Say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind your business, oh. If you say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind your business, oh. We no come to play. Every single day. Money come my way. Money come my way. Never cross my lele. Every day I dey pray. Yenti who dead day. If you say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind your business, oh. If you say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. Charlie, mind your business, oh. If you say my life no good, I dey like I'm so. If you say my life no good, I dey like I'm Charlie, mind your business.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. Yeah, that music that you heard was from Dope Nation. Dope Nation. That was the first time I'm hearing of them. But you know, I've been sampling lots of songs, so we do get that. Okay, let me read some of the comments that have come through. Amayo says that 2020. Okay, it says revolution groups, referendum groups, freedom groups. Now, 2023 will be tough, no doubt. And Anthony Adedeji, thumbs up to you too, wherever you are. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time down to 6 minutes to the top of the hour. My apologies. You can post your comments. You can post your comments in. I don't know whether we'll be able to be picking the calls up, but we'll don't you worry. We'll go on where the technical team are still working behind the scenes to see whether we can pick calls up, whether the calls can come through. It looks like we're having a bit of a challenge there. Yomi could hear me, but I couldn't hear him, and we're not very sure of what was taking place there. But it's all Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right then. Now, so when it comes to the UK front, what is some of the stories making the rounds here? Well, interestingly, okay. Now, interestingly, in the UK front, Putin is using barbaric tactics. That's what the Prime Minister is saying. Johnson promises more help for Ukrainian refugees. The Prime Minister's comment followed criticism that the UK isn't doing enough for people fleeing the war. That's one of the stories making the round. But we're going more on that because there's a lot of stories making the rounds when it comes to the Ukraine crisis that is going on at the moment. All tube lines down due to strike action, as I announced earlier on during the travel updates. Now, about 10,000 workers from the Rail, Maritime and Transport, that's RMT union, walk out at midnight. They work out at midnight, so for the next 24 hours, there's not going to be any tube there. A few ones here and there where they have reduced services, so you can join them. But please check before you leave, as we've said. Starr Radio UK. Now moving on to one of the stories that will make your hair stand up this morning. Pertains to highest rail fare rise in 9 years. That takes effect from today. The highest train fare rises for 9 years have come into force for rail travelers in England and Wales. Regulated fares in England and Wales will rise up to 3.8%. They cover around half of fares and include season tickets on most commuter routes. Now, Labour condemned what is called a brutal rise, while the TUC union said it will make it harder for city centres to bounce back from COVID. But the government said the increase was below the rate of inflation. The current retail price index measure of inflation stands at 7.8%. The rail fare increase is based on last year's RPI inflation rate. The increase in the train fares will have been higher than up to 3.8% if the government used its normal formula of RPI plus 1%. Now, nevertheless, Tuesday's rise is the steepest increase since January 2013, according to figures from industry body and the Rail Delivery Group. It comes at a time when the UK's cost of living is rising at the fastest pace for 30 years, and with the rate expected to rise even further. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, so looking at the stories in the UK, a couple others as well. A pair have been jailed for disrespect, revenge stabbings in Bristol. Now, two men who stabbed two teenagers in a premeditated revenge attack after claiming one had been disrespectful have been jailed. Jerome Edwards and another male who cannot be identified attacked the pair in Hallfield, Bristol in August 2020. Both pleaded guilty to causing grievous bodily harm with intent, with Edwards 20 jailed for 5 years and other given 2.5 years detention. Another 2 men were jailed for separate stabbings in the city. Now, KK and Jermaine Mullins, both 19, were sentenced on the 31st of January at Bristol Crown Court after a teenager was stabbed in Patco Wines in Wells Road in Totterdown on the 18th of April 2021. Now, both pleaded guilty to causing grievous bodily harm with intent and were jailed for 4 years. Now, Mullins was given as an additional 3 months for committing the offense while serving a community order for a previous conviction. The same court held that the victim in the Hallfield attack, which happened on the 16th of August 2020 on Toronto Road, both sustained serious injuries in what police called a premeditated attack. Now, Avon and Somerset Police said it had been motivated by revenge after one of the victims had been declared disrespectful. The younger defendant was sentenced on 2.5 years detention to run consecutively with a 2-year detention he was given in November last year for a drugs offense. Now, in both cases, the victims declined to give statements, meaning police had to pursue victimless prosecutions. Well, it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. With a time now, almost a few seconds to what? 12. Okay, so we're going to take a music break because the technical team are trying to see whether they can work on the calls that is coming through. And so whilst we enjoy that song, we get ourselves ready because some of the topics we're going to be discussing are looking at missiles hit center of Ukraine's second biggest city. Russian missile hit Kharkiv administrative buildings in Freedom Square, causing a huge explosion. And how many nuclear weapons does Russia have is a question that some people are now asking. But cruel attack on Ukraine's second city, and I can't pay. Russians feel the pain of the sanctions. Do you think that will go far enough for them to say, Putin, please stop what you are doing? Or you think we've gotten to a point of no return? We are going, heaven knows where we are going. This and a lot more going to be coming your way. Stay tuned, don't you go away. But this music coming your way from Nico, cover version of the Black Eyed Peas song, Where Is the Love? Enjoy it and I'll be with you.
People killing, people dying, children hurt and hear them crying. Can you practice what you preach? Would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. People got me questioning. Where is the love? What's wrong with the world, mama? People living like they ain't got no mamas. Think the whole world's addicted to the drama, only attracted to things that'll bring you trauma. Overseas, yeah, we're trying to stop terrorism, but we still got terrorists here living in the USA, the big CIA, Bloods and the Crips and the KKK. If you only have love for your own race, then you only leave space to discriminate. To discriminate only generates hate. When you hate, then you're bound to get irate. Madness is what you demonstrate. That's exactly how anger works and operates. Man, you gotta have love, this'll set us straight. Take control of your mind and meditate. Let your soul gravitate to love. People killing, people dying, children hurt and hear them crying. Can you practice what you preach? Would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. People got me questioning. Where is the love? The love, the love. Where is the love? Feel the weight of the world on my shoulder. As I get older, people get colder. Most of us only care about the money making. Selfishness got us following the wrong direction. Wrong information always shown by the media. Negative images is the main criteria. Infecting the young minds faster than bacteria. Kids wanna act like what they see in the cinema. Yeah, whatever happened to the values of humanity? Whatever happened to the fairness and equality? Instead of spreading love, we're spreading animosity. Lack of understanding lead away from unity. And that's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling under. That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling down. There's no wonder why sometimes I'm feeling under. Gotta keep my faith until the love is found. People killing, people dying, children hurting, hear them crying. Can you practice what you preach? Would you die the other cheek? Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. People got me questioning. Where is the love? The love, the love.
Well, where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? A cover of Black Eyed Peas song. You wake up this morning, you ask yourself, well, with everything that is going around the world, where is the love? But let me announce the lines open. If you want to call in, feel free to do so. Feel free to do so. Call us on 0208-133-2257 or 58. 0208-133-2257 or 58. And then, if you are in the US, Canada, the Caribbean area, it is 001-718-303-2737. 001-718-303-2737. You can also text or WhatsApp us. Our text or WhatsApp number is 075-3966-1744. 075-3966-1744. And our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK. Email address is info@starradiouk.com. But whatever you do, make sure you call us. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay. Now, missiles have hit the center of Ukraine's second biggest city, Kharkiv. Earlier on, I remember back in the day we called it Kharkov. Okay. Now there have been emotional. Okay, let me bring all those. Okay, just bear with me. Just bear with me whilst we get it. And it's quite a worrying trend going on. Okay, Freedom Square in central Kharkiv, Ukraine's second city, has been hit by a Russian strike, causing a huge explosion. A missile hit the regional government headquarters in the city near the Russian border. Okay, and it says that President Zelensky of Ukraine calls the attack on Kharkiv state terrorism. Now, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson accuses Russia of barbaric and indiscriminate attacks. Now, Kharkiv, a city of 1.4 million, is known as Ukraine's tech capital, and residential areas have been hit too. Now, elsewhere, a huge convoy of Russian armored vehicles is advancing on Ukraine's capital, Kiev. Now, in the northeastern city of Otirka, up to 70 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed in Russian artillery strike. Okay, so it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Some of the happenings in Ukraine at the moment. But what I'm trying to do is to try to bring you a balanced reportage. Okay, a balanced reportage today. Balanced reportage today. Okay, so that we know what exactly is happening here and what exactly is happening. Okay, I knew for sure that will happen. They are not allowing us to have access. Have access to those channels. Okay. As I said, I just want to have a balanced reportage. But okay, I think I'm getting a few of them in. Let's see whether I can get that. Okay, they are all not being allowed to be viewed. Okay, final test on one other network. Okay, no Russia present at MIP TV. Organizers following government sanctions and policies in each territory where we operate. That is what story that is going on in that part of the world. Organizers of MIP TV are to follow all government sanctions and policies in each territory where they operate regarding Russia, with deadline understanding there will effectively be no Russian presence at the Cannes TV market. So it's very difficult. Here they are also gagging us from saying what the Russians are also saying on their platform this morning. But it is all Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to some of the other stories. Stories there as well. So, they're having emotional scenes at the opening of the EU Parliament's special session debating the conflict in Ukraine just now. It began with a standing ovation for the ambassador of Ukraine, with MEPs taking to their feet and wearing T-shirts with the Ukrainian flag on. The president of the European Parliament, Robert Metsola, thanked President Zelensky, who joined via a video link. Now, Mr. President, in a quote, he said, "Thank you for showing the world what it means to stand up. Thank you for reminding us about the dangers of complacency," she said in a speech. Now, where she praised the heroism of the Ukrainian people defending their country. Now, Ms. Metsola also said the Parliament has welcomed Ukrainian application to become an EU member and will work on making that a reality. Now, seeing that story, I asked myself the question, is that not stoking the flame or pouring more fuel or more petrol onto the flame that will cause lots of reprisal attacks or what? Putin thinking that, well, I need to go on despite and in spite. Now, what do you think is going to happen there? It is all Star Radio UK, the favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has told the UN conference on disarmament in Switzerland that it is time for US nuclear weapons in Europe to go home. Now, Lavrov was expected to appear in person in Geneva, but travel bans prevented that. So, in a pre-recorded message, he said Russia was ready to talk about strategic stability with the US, but he warned that the West must not build military facilities in countries of the former Soviet Union. So that's why people have been asking the question that after Ukraine, who next? Is it going to be Latvia? Is it going to be some of the other former Soviet Union countries who are already part of the NATO? What is going to happen there? Okay, I mean, yesterday I had two of my colleagues, Mr. Frank Davis and Felix, throwing more light on the occurrence, what is going on, the push factors and everything. Okay, now we look at everything that has gone on and looking at comparing what happened in the 60s to, that is the Russia trying to say that we're going to build, be building, thinking that they were going to build a military base in Cuba, and the USA, no, Cuba is just next door to us and we're not going to allow that. If you fix it, we're going to come in there to, and they've since been facing sanctions up to now. They are still facing sanctions. But the question that I want to pose this afternoon is, which countries will be next if they already belong to NATO? Okay, so we know that Ukraine is the closest to Russia when it comes to countries. When you look at the maps, okay, Ukraine is the closest to Russia. There might be some small other links from other parts, but we're looking at Crimea, we're looking at Donetsk, and we're looking at Luhansk. They border that link there. Okay, so assuming Russia takes over, completely overwhelms Ukraine and has Ukraine in their pockets, what other country would they want to come to? Would it be that, okay, we've taken over is it going to be part of Russia, or they're going to put a puppet or president or somebody there who will serve their interests? Is that what is going to happen? Now I want to have your take on that, because the EU is saying that, well, we're going to expedite, we're going to make sure that the fact that Ukraine wants to be part of the application for Ukrainians or Ukraine to be part of the EU is expedited or becomes a reality. Is that going to be stoking fire? Okay, so the first day of March has swept in with an icy blast of wind and snow, and this 6th day of Russia's invasion is unfolding with a gnawing sense of foreboding. Now, satellite images convey with serene clarity the pace of Russia's progress towards Kiev. A serpentine armored convoy, some 40 miles, that's 64 kilometers long, bristling with tanks and troops, slowly snakes forward. It's only 17 miles away. It gives an entirely new and terrifying meaning to the expression "the world is watching." Now everyone can see these satellite images, but it's only Ukrainian forces, soldiers, civilians that can stop it lumbering advance. But it's all Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's see whether we can hear Kojo and Kojo can hear me. Hello, Kojo.
Hi, Archie. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. So I didn't know what was happening when Yomi came on, but it's good now. I might have pressed few knobs.
Yeah, I think everything was echoing twice.
Yeah. I was trying to use it through another means to do it, and I don't know where the feed was coming from, but it's all well and good now. Yeah. How are you doing, sir?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah.
Good.
In spite of this wicked world around us.
But interestingly, yesterday I know that you were busy, so you couldn't come on. But when I had Frank and Felix, I mean, putting some few issues around or on the table, it made it quite clear that there's been a push factor that has pushed Russia to behave that way. Though some people say that looking at what they are doing, the might of Russia that they are using against Ukraine is not fair. It's not a balanced game. It's a proper David and Goliath issue that we're talking about here. But looking at that, so far with what is going on, what is the chances of the Ukrainians at the moment? Looking at the 40-mile convoy of military equipment that is heading towards Kiev.
Yeah, of course they are displaying their might as Russian. You remember what they did in Chechnya, so they can actually go out and flatten Kiev. That is official Ukrainian language. Kiev is Russian.
Yeah, I know.
It's Ukrainian. So wait side of the fence. I hear though what Frank and I wasn't listening yesterday. I was probably super extremely busy. I didn't even have an inch of breathing space. I mean, I was working right up to past 10 p.m. But let's put it this way. Is it still justifiable because Western countries or Ukraine itself hadn't heeded to the demands of Russia? I mean, that is still a blatant tactic. I mean, it's just like I make a demand that you don't go across your house to the next side of the street, because the other side of the street are neighbors that I don't like. So as a result, I prevent you from going to that side of the street. I'm the neighbor at your back. That is a kind of thing. I mean, it's still not justified. I mean, every nation has a right to determine its own course of how they want their nation to go and head towards. And another nation using its might and strength to intimidate another nation. I mean, in this current global world that we live in, is it justifiable? I mean, in my view, it simply is not. I mean, whether Russia has been making demands that NATO shouldn't expand. I mean, it's so ridiculous. They are making demands that even NATO move from Germany. So how far are they going to go? I mean, that is this morning's on.
Yeah,
They don't know where that America has its troops.
Yeah, in Europe, they should leave there. They should go back home.
So how far are they going to go? I mean, that makes it complete madness. It's complete mad. No matter what somebody says that we've not heeded to America and the West haven't heeded to the demands of Russia. So does it mean that when Russia makes a demand, everybody should accept the demand? No matter what, I wouldn't accept that view. That look, even if Ukraine had accepted the demands of Russia, Western countries have accepted the demands of Russia. How far would have Russia now gone? Russia would have now gone towards Poland, in my view, and say, Poland, could you also move out? Because Poland would have been the next door neighbor.
Yeah.
If Ukraine wasn't in that position, and Ukraine is aligning to Russia, like in the way Belarus
is with
aligning
Russia.
to Russia, the next door neighbor to Belarus is where? Poland. Is Russia now going to go far and say, Poland, don't let American troops come to your territory? And obviously, that is what they were going to do. So anything anybody says, the aggressor here isn't the Western countries. The aggressor is Russia.
Okay, let me ask you a question there. One of the points is that one of the areas that they were looking at is in the 60s, in the 1960s, 65, 67, 67, about when Russia, USSR at the time decided that they wanted to build a military base in Cuba. Okay, America was against it, and that's what I mean. The sanctions that were placed on Cuba up to now, that is still on there. Now, the issue was that America thought having a Russian or USSR military base just next door to them wasn't right, and therefore they said even if they dare do it, allow them, they are going to come in, they invade that country and take everything down. Okay, so they are thinking that stance of the US at that time is the same stance that Russia is taking, and Putin heading it, saying that we will not allow that to happen. So you see the point that they are looking at as well.
Look, we are not in the system. And look, America didn't invade Cuba, irrespective of everything. Any justification that was made, America did not invade Cuba. But here is the case. Russia had entered Ukraine. America did not enter Ukraine. So even if you want to draw a comparison between the two, which is a fair comparison, I will say, but America still did. Though America made a threat, did it carry out a threat? The answer is no. America didn't carry a threat. The threat forward.
Because somebody will say because the Cubans didn't allow the Russians to build the military base there. That's why.
Yeah, but that's fair. But you can draw the same conclusion with Ukraine. Ukraine also didn't allow. NATO didn't enter Ukraine. NATO did not enter Ukraine. So
not yet.
Was there justification? Yeah, exactly. They didn't enter. Did they enter? They didn't do it. They didn't put any base there. Although Ukraine was heading to that, but that was prevented even as far back as 2014. Western countries could have gone in after 2014, 2015, when things had settled down around 2016. When it was obvious, when the World Cup and all that was being held in 2018, they could have gone in and put their tents everywhere. So let's assume if America had gone in prior to Russia invading, was Russia going to invade? No, Russia wouldn't do an invasion. If America was already there, if NATO was already there, if EU troops were already stationed in Ukraine, they wouldn't have done it. That would have been against international norms. So we have to see it from that perspective. That look, irrespective of every demand that was placed on Western countries not to extend NATO any further, they didn't do it. As far as I'm concerned, they didn't do it. Even when Ukraine wanted to join the EU, they were prevented by Germany and Italy blocking it out. So you can understand that the person who is being more aggressive is Russia.
Okay, hold on. We've got Felix on. Maybe he wants to maybe throw more light on what he was saying yesterday. Felix, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. And you?
I'm okay.
Good. Yes, go on, sir.
Kojo D, have you heard of the Bay of Pigs?
I don't think he heard that.
I can't hear you well.
Yeah, have you heard of the Bay of Pigs? Bay of Pigs invasion. You have heard about that. Yeah. And I believe that if you have heard about that, that was an attempted invasion of Cuba by dissidents who were openly financed, and to this day, the United States has never denied their involvement. In fact, it was a brother of a brother of the late President Kennedy who was in charge of that abortive operation. Right. So that was an attempted invasion of in fact, not an attempted invasion. It was an invasion of Cuba that was started by the So that's for the records. Secondly,
just
hold on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just hold on. You see, shall we say we don't have a beef in this? For those of us who are not, shall we say Europeans? We don't have a beef in this, right? Okay. Look, the guys, I don't approve of what is going on. Personally, like I said to you yesterday, I'm a pacifist. I don't approve of what is going on. But the guys who are sitting down at the Kremlin, right, what they are looking at is they are looking at their history. When they've been invaded 3 times. That is the look. You see, sometimes people say, well, okay, it's true. I mean, Ukraine finds itself in an unfortunate situation where its territory is now being used as a new front of what is increasingly is becoming to look like what it was before the Cold War back in play.
Yeah.
Right? But you just have to look at the map of Europe as we speak today. I'm not trying to defend Vladimir Putin or even Russia here. Russia made significant efforts to be part of NATO.
Yeah.
And basically they were told in the face that you are the enemy. You are the reason why NATO exists. What do you do when you have a military alliance that has 3 major nuclear bomb possessing countries? The United Kingdom, the United States, and France.
Yeah.
And then you have countries that are not that do not have nuclear bombs, but a country like Germany that has historically tried to invade Russia.
Yeah.
At least it's done so twice in the last 150 years.
They should have been the enemies, shouldn't they?
Well, Germany, because of historical reasons, has decided not to take on that military capacity anymore. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have the know-it-all. It has it.
Yeah.
But it's decided for historical purposes and for constitutional reasons, decided to stay, not paying attention to this. But these are the historical facts. Nobody can deny this. These are the historical facts. Now, if you feel you are being encircled, now, you see, this discussion helps if as we're doing this discussion, somebody will have a map over there. And if you look at nations, what we consider Eastern European nations, but they're actually Central European nations or Baltic states, all of these countries are now part, not all, but most of them are now part of a military alliance. And that military alliance,
14 of them. It's 14 of them. 14 states. Yeah.
Yes, that's from Europe. Now, when you go to Asia, a lot of people don't know this, but Russia also shares border with Japan. Are people aware of that?
No. You're telling me? I didn't even know that they share border with Japan.
There's a big sea. Even though there's a big sea among the...
Okay.
Japan.
Okay.
It may not be a land border.
Land border. Okay.
But one of the countries that borders Russia is Japan.
Yeah.
Well, Japan also has all sorts of military hardware from the United States.
Yeah.
So this is a country that feels encircled. And if you listen, maybe not so much in the British press, but if you listen to the Americans, and let's be honest, it's the Americans who are the big players in NATO.
Oh, of course,
right?
Of course.
If you listen to most Americans, historically, American politicians have always seen Russia as a country that is too big and has to be fragmented, just like Africa has been fragmented. They think that a country is too big, it has 8 time zones, It's the biggest country on earth, and it has to be fragmented. So the very size of the country itself is seen as a threat. What do you do? And you see, it's unfortunate that this has come to this, but for the last 30 years, if they had taken Russia's consent, because all the Russians have been asking over the last 30 years is some kind of security guarantee. Because at the end of the Cold War, most of these agreements are now being torn apart left, right, and center. In fact, when Donald Trump became the president of the United States, he's even thrown aside a lot of these international agreements, such as the INF agreement. You know, agreements that are supposed to be there to guide these big, power players, Russia and the United States, countries that have big nuclear weapons and that sort of stuff, as to what the rules of engagement are going to be. These things have been, thrown aside, and even 2 weeks ago, their concerns were just dismissed. I mean, have you not seen on television the never-ending flow of weapons into Ukraine? You think what we have been shown on television is the only thing that they have been given?
No.
Are we supposed to believe that they are going to fight
with what, AK-47 and this? No. They're proper.
And beer bottles.
No.
Beer bottles filled with petrol.
No.
I don't think that the West have ever.
So this is the Yeah, go ahead, please. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying that the West has never denied not sending ammunition to Ukraine. They have consistently said they are increasing their ammunition capability. I mean, what even held some of it back was that Germany was not in favor of ammunition going to Ukraine, but they were still sending it, but not at the volume they have wanted to send it. So I'm not sure I don't think the West ever denied that. They haven't.
Okay, let me ask you, gentlemen, a question there. But listeners, it's Starr Radio UK, 12:30 the time. It's the morning show. I have Kojo D and Felix all the way in Aberdeen with me, and we are looking at what is happening across the globe. But this time we're looking at the Ukraine issue. Now, do you think that maybe, if like the Second World War, the end of the Second World War, where we had Russia or the USSR and the United States, now, I mean, actually splitting Germany into two, so we had the East and the West Germany. Do you think that maybe something of that sort, a compromise of that sort, will help Ukraine? So one part, those who want to be ruled by American style, they can be there, and then we have the Russians also there. Nobody putting any arms there, though. You can have your security people there. Do you think that will solve the problem now?
Well, look, let me look. Let me put it in a certain context. If you have a matured buffalo, a very well matured male buffalo, and a very well matured male lion, they can only stare each other for so long.
Before the attack,
it's as simple as that. They can only stare each other for so long. At some point in time, one will make a move. Right? That is just. It's unfortunate, but that's how sometimes animal or human relations are, particularly when there is power play involved. You can only stare each other for so long. At some point in time, there will be a move.
Okay.
Right? Now, Europe has a choice. Either you continue the trajectory that they have taken, particularly with the sort of hawkish elements you have running Europe at the moment. And if that continues, I'm afraid we shouldn't be surprised if in our lifetime there's a major war in Europe. Because you cannot have a military. Nobody can question this now. Aside of the United States of America, there's no other military powerhouse on this planet Earth than Russia.
Yeah.
Right? You may not have the economic muscle to finance its military, but at the moment, he has the technology, he has the know-how, he has the knowledge. Right? Now, if Europe continues the way it is, with NATO alliances increasing their presence in Europe, then at some point in time there will be a flare-up. Whether it's a flare-up that is designed and orchestrated, or flare-up that is accidental.
Okay.
So that's one option. The other option is that if they don't want to go that way, then at some point in time, some kind of buffer zone has to be established.
Okay.
where Russia would decide that, okay, well, there's this buffer zone, I don't go there, or if I want to go there, it's for non-military purposes. You know, maybe they may even decide not to do trade with Europe anymore, and then just pay attention to Asia, because Russia also has borders with Asian countries, North Korea and so on, China and so on and so forth, right? And there are some people in Russia who have advocated that, look, we've tried it for many years. These Western Europeans don't want anything to do with it. Just forget about them.
Let's go to the east.
Yeah, just pay attention to the Asian countries, you know, China, India, you know, some of the Asian countries and the traditional allies they have in Africa, because Russia has a lot of allies in Africa, even though it never colonized Africa, any African country. So that's an option. The other option is one thing that Frank suggested yesterday, which is that Russia should be admitted into NATO. That way, it won't see itself as a threat anymore.
Well, you know, Russia.
Why are you laughing?
No, Russia said whenever they get there, the West, they have their own rules, and they are the police of the rules, and then they say this is what we want, so they don't want to be part of it.
If they really want lasting peace in Europe, then that is an option to be considered.
Okay.
Right? And then finally, very finally, and now this may be naive on my part, but one option is to, you know, get Americans to get their missiles and their influence out of Europe and go away, and let Europeans, that is the Russians and their European neighbors, sort out their own internal security issues, which is something, despite all the success of Europe over the last maybe 500 years or so, which is something that Europe has failed. Because the First World War happened in Europe, the Second World War happened in Europe, and it's, I mean, I'm not a betting man, but if you should move to any betting place at the moment, I bet the odds will be up high that the next World War is likely to start in Europe. It's not likely to start in Africa.
Of course.
It's not likely to start in Latin America. It's not likely to start in Asia.
No, in Africa. No.
But it's likely to start in Europe.
In Europe, yeah. So,
right. So,
go on.
So, I mean, these are not, maybe I'm a naive African like I suggested yesterday, but these are the options on the table, because you cannot expect people who are sitting at the Kremlin to think that they're going to feel safe when they are gradually but slowly being encircled. They are not naive. You know, yesterday I made a point to you that in the last year, 2-3 years or so, the Russians have been making this point that these never-ending NATO drills that bring in huge amounts of armory. But when the drills finish, these armories are not moved out of town. They see it as a decoy to deploy significant amount of arms just on their borders. Because today is a NATO drill in Estonia, another day is another one in
Latvia.
Another day is another one in Poland, and another day is another one in Romania. And they claim that this is never ending, and that this is just a ploy to build more capability along its borders. Because anytime there are these drills, they build warehouses for the storage of ammunition. A whole lot of armory is brought in from the United States, because they are the main financier of NATO. And when the drills are finished, they never return these military assets back to the States. Kojo, you can say something. I don't know everything.
Kojo, let me ask you a quick one. Now, do you think a buffer zone or splitting Ukraine into two would do it?
It never worked with Germany and West Germany, so how is it going to work with East Ukraine and West Ukraine? That is the situation. Because even if you split it into two, are you going to split the north goes to Russia, towards Russia, and the south goes towards
the west,
Western country? That issue would still be there, because if the south of the country heads towards west, I mean, it's been divided by the river. Will it still change anything? I mean, it would just be like
I do apologize. Can I just step in here, just a quick one, not too much. Regarding the split, there have been suggestions that maybe, and this is not coming from me, this is something that is already been under discussion, because remember, this civil war in Ukraine didn't start today.
Yeah.
It's been on since 2014. There was a suggestion that maybe they should have the sort of Canada setup where you have the province of Quebec, which is still part of Canada,
Yeah.
but they have significant amounts of autonomy, even including issues such as immigration.
Yeah.
And remember, in Quebec, they speak French.
Yeah.
The first language
Yeah.
in Quebec
French.
is French
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than English.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's a fair idea, but in my work, but potentially, if we're talking about Russia's concerns will still be hanging there, because if the south part or the east part, or however they split it to west and east, those concerns will still be hanging around. Because if NATO is still going to be at the border of, station themselves roundabout in the west or the south, wherever, however they split it, it will still be hanging around. So the dynamics of the politics in that region will not change really, and there'll be all these difficulty, issues of concerns about Russia itself feeling vulnerable will all be there. I mean, and I don't think that is going to change the issue as it stands now. I think maybe a diplomatic effort on both sides should work. I mean, Russia joining NATO is going to be impossible, as we know, when people might suggest it, but NATO kind of have its own rules, and it's sort of what they say. If Russia wants to be part of that organization, then Russia has to follow the rules. So, and Russia too is not prepared to become a bit subservient to America in the way the rules have been drawn. So that's not going to happen any soon. And I don't even see happening in future. I mean, it's a difficult situation in the Baltics, and I don't know how far it's going to go, but maybe if all of them decide that, look, we need to come to a compromise, we need to take a decision now to avert anything that is going to happen. Frankly, as Felix said, almost every single war the world has experienced started, apart from those civil wars in Africa and America, but any major war that the world has experienced had all started in Europe. So Europe is a centerpiece of all trouble.
Yeah, but so having said that all wars, I mean, wars have started in Europe, do you think it's wise for the US to leave? Because in both times, that's the First and the Second World War, the US minding their own business now have to step in some way, somehow, to be involved, maybe to deliver us. British people would say they are our friends, so they called on them and then they came in to come and help. Do you think it's wise that Russia is saying that they should go home? Americans should take all their arms or whatever weapons from Europe and go home. Do you think is the right thing to do?
But that will also be a dangerous recipe. In my view, it will be a dangerous recipe. I mean, the reason why nations align to other nations is because one nation sees a vulnerability in itself and want to align to a bigger nation that hasn't got that vulnerability. So when it falls vulnerable, another nation could step into it. It's just like you work with your big brother. The reason why you work with your big brother is when you get attacked, your big brother can flex up his muscle. So whatever we say, we debate today across the globe, that isn't going to happen because smaller nations feel strength in bigger nations. So all the exercise going on in Estonia, because Estonia is a few million people, and Estonia thinks that they will feel vulnerable to the likes of bigger nations. Even Belarus is massive and big. So if they're going to feel vulnerable, Moldova, which is also right down there, they are also small and vulnerable, but they sort of tilt towards Russia. So they're kind of a bit secure from that front. So every small nation will feel they need to align to a bigger nation so that they feel safe in the size of that nation. So it's going to be a difficult prospect, but I think some compromise has to be arrived at. I mean, at the moment, everybody is going to take their posture for a long time until they decide, okay, we've had enough. We want to back off from each other. I think that is the situation, how it's going to play out.
Now, listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. We've got about 17 minutes more to go. I mean, this has been an issue that is going on for the past, what do you call it, since the 24th. There's these attacks that have been going on, this war that is going on at the moment. But now, the EU, having a meeting today, has said that they're going to expedite or see to it that the fact that the quest for Ukraine to be part of the EU is realized. Do you think it's a wise thing to do now, especially knowing that Putin is just looking at anything or any excuse to do, I mean, his bidding?
Let me have a go, then Felix can come in and have a go. I think it's a premature decision for now. I mean, which nation is at war is made a member. I can't see why they want to do that. I mean, that is more like we do say, stirring up more aggression. And those are some of the things that had been a concern of Russia. So if Ukraine becomes an EU nation, then it means that pretty soon they'll become a NATO nation. So, I mean, I don't think that was a right thing for them to start contemplating for now. They could have done it long ago. Why did they do it? The same concern of not getting into the firing line of Russia, or poking the Russian bear, as they say. So why would they want to do that now, especially when it's a war?
Okay, Felix.
A few things to mention, and then I'll come to your second question. You know that Finland is not part of NATO.
Yeah, it's not.
Right. Do you know why the Finnish took that decision? They could have done that when NATO was formed. Right. It was also for, shall we say, apparent peace of the world at the time. Because Finland was not part of NATO, Russia never, or the USSR at the time, never saw it as an enemy. And therefore, most of the international negotiations that went on during that time, all these nuclear, interballistic, intercontinental, whatever agreements that they signed over the days of the Cold War, most of the negotiations were sometimes held in Helsinki, because that was seen as a neutral ground. Right. Look, I'm not Ukrainian. It's a very sad situation they find themselves in, but there were models that they could have followed. They could have followed the Finnish model. They could have followed the Swiss model. You know, I understand that you are a sovereign country. You have the right to decide who you want to be associated with and all the rest of it. But the world is what the world is. You know, as a Pan-Africanist, I would prefer that as an African, if I get onto the African continent, I should be able to move around anywhere I choose. I should be able to live anywhere like my great-great-great-grandparents did 300, 400 years ago. They could move across the continent without being stopped. Nobody identified them as Ghanaians, Nigerians, Ethiopians, that sort of thing. They moved around freely. But the world is what the world is today. I mean, Ukraine could have taken these options. Just be a neutral party in all of these as a country, and perhaps today you probably won't have your cities being bombed. You may have your cities being destinations for international meetings and conferences and so on and so forth. People forget that these things bring in a lot of money. I mean, Switzerland, Geneva, Switzerland is not even part of the United Nations. But most of the United Nations offices, departments are located in Geneva and Zurich. Why? Because it has been a neutral party. So these warring, divisions that we had after the Cold War, this was a place that they could all go as a neutral place for international meetings and conferences and top-level negotiations and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, the Ukrainian people, or not the people, but the political leadership chose a different course. Right? And unfortunately, this is what has brought us to this. You know, it's not. I don't blame it all on the Ukrainians. The Russians are responsible for moving of their aircraft and their military onto Ukrainian soil. So they are primarily to be blamed for this round of hostilities that are going on.
Yeah.
But these are models that they could have chosen. They could have chosen the model of Finland, because Finland is still not part of NATO. Despite all the talk, Finland is still not part of NATO.
Yeah.
And the Russians, one time when the Russians were asked, why is it that they don't have this hostility with Finland? Why is it that people can, the Finnish-Russian border, there's hardly any presence of soldiers there, even during the time of the Cold War? And they said that, look, Finland is not our enemy. It's not part of NATO. So we don't have a reason to attack them. We don't have a reason to be hostile to them. We may not have a significant amount of economic activity with them, but we don't see them as enemies in any way, shape, or form. And I believe that may be one option for Ukraine. The European Union can choose to provide them with significant amounts of financial resources. They can decide to give them significant amounts of access to European markets. They can even decide to give them significant access to movement of labor and people, maybe even give them residential status such as Swiss nationals are given when they get into the European Union, or Norwegian nationals are given when they get to the European Union, where they can live, when they can settle, where they can move their families, where they can study and things like that, but yet they are not part of the EU. And I think these are all options that are on the table. If there are serious diplomats in Europe who really want to see this to an end, or see an end to this, shall we say. But if you're going to have people who are hawkish, who are using the sort of language that we've been hearing over the last, 10, 15, 20 years, then it's going to be very difficult to find a solution to this. And if it continues this way, Kojo doesn't have to be a prophet. You don't have to be a prophet.
Sure.
But perhaps, maybe in our time, even those of us who look down on our political leaders in Africa will have no choice but to pack our things and head back to where we came from. Because if it continues this way, like I stated with my initial analogy, there's only so long that a matured buffalo and a matured male lion can stare at each other. At some point in time, there will be a head-on collision.
Wow. Listen.
Now, whether they fight and they both go their different ways injured, it's a different story. But you can't see a male lion on the plains of Africa and a male buffalo fully matured, both of them, and then they will keep staring at each other all day long. No, it doesn't happen.
No, it won't happen.
Because whether people accept it or not, this is a country, you can say that it's being haunted by the experience of the Second World War, which is that they lost 25 million nationals, and they had not, aggressively attacked Germany. It was Germany that tried attacking it for the second time. So that history is there. It's not something that happened 250 years ago or 400 years ago.
Let's about 70 or 80 years ago.
Yes. Right? So it is there, and there are people who are still living in Russia today who went through that experience. They may be old, the memory may be gone, but they are still alive. So you don't expect them to have a naive view like we tend to have in Africa. And we have a naive view maybe because we don't have the capacity or that sort of thing. But even in Africa now...
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't forget, there are people also living in Ukraine today Ukraine also lost over 8 million of its...
Oh, you're correct. Because the whole, the confrontation actually started in... Yes. The confrontation actually started in Ukraine. That it was Ukraine that was used to attack Russia. So a lot of the fight actually took place in Ukraine. And in fact, some people say that Hitler actually died in Ukraine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a history that at some point in time when he realized that things were not going well with regards to the invasion of Russia, he went to the battlefield, and that's why he didn't die in Germany. He didn't die in Germany. And that apparently it took some, because they were, at the time, the soldiers at the time were given chocolates, and basically the chocolate had poison in it. So if you realize that maybe you've been encircled and you don't want to give up, and obviously you're going to be gunned down, you just add the chocolate and then you are gone. Yes, and the argument is that that's what he did himself when he realized that he failed to overtake St. Petersburg or Leningrad at the time, and that the war has flipped, and it's just a matter of time he will be captured, and just a matter of time Germany will succumb. So the Ukrainians also suffer. I mean, this whole thing is very sad because these are people who actually should not.
They shouldn't be fighting at all.
It's the principality of Monaco and France.
Yeah.
It's just like what do you call it? The Isle of Man in the UK. People who are in many respects the same people. In many respects, people who have lived together for many years without any problem, and now for whatever the reason is, or for a number of reasons that we know some, we don't know others, they've turned on each other. Because remember, 1/3 of the population itself speak Russian. Up until 2014, when they had a government that decided that they were going to make it illegal for people to be taught Russian. And most people are actually, they have relations in Russia, or they have relations in Ukraine. So it's a sad scenario that people who, whatever the economic challenges they may have had, historically they've never fought against each other for a long time. They may have had significant economic challenges, particularly after the collapse of the USSR. But even during that time, they didn't go fighting each other. And the sad thing is that most of Ukrainian financial debt was taken over by Russia because they felt, look, you are one of our own, we'll take care of that. They were selling gas to them about 1/3 of the market price. And even that, Ukraine was not able to pay on time, so they would give them, pay your bills in 3 years. I mean, who will get that sort of deal? But they felt that they had to do this. And then, unfortunately, for some reasons, you've had external players who have gone into the situation, and it's like a family that has lived together for so long, somebody comes to marry into the family, and now they
stoking fire.
So the whole thing is sad. It is literally. If you see them facially, they even look
alike. That's why the Home Secretary is saying that.
Not Slavic, but the language even sound like the same.
Yeah.
I've been there before. So that perspective, when I went there several years ago, maybe 18 years ago,
thereabout.
Spoke. Thereabout. Everybody spoke Russian. And the people who hosted me, they spoke Russian, and they couldn't even pronounce some of the words correctly in the Ukrainian language because everybody spoke Russian. They were all taught Russian. They all learned Russian in school. But back home, they try to speak Ukrainian language. But there is a new generation of people now who just speak Ukrainian language, although the language is so similar to each other, so similar. I mean, it's just the accents and the pronunciations. It's just like, so those are the only slight difference, and they have tried, the current Ukrainian people are trying to differentiate a little between the language, but the vast majority of them are married to each other. I went as far as going to the east of the country. I mean, from Kiev down there took about 18 hours from one end to the east of the country. So places like Donetsk, we went past all those places. I mean, you couldn't tell the difference between the people because our host spoke Russian everywhere he went. He didn't actually even speak Ukrainian properly. So just to support what you were saying.
It's very, very sad.
And you see, the sad thing is that when Chernobyl, for instance, happened, I mean, you had people from Belarus, you had people from Ukraine itself. Remember, Chernobyl actually is in Ukraine. Basically the Ukraine-Belarusian border area. And then you have Russians as well. And the sad thing is that even today, as all of this is happening, there are still a lot of Ukrainians who still live and work in Russia. Who do a lot of business in Russia.
Those who have moved from that side,
The whole thing is sad. I mean, in the African context, usually when we have these sort of problems in Africa, what do? We see that, look, let all external players get out of the system.
Let us sort it out.
Get out of the system, and let those who are having to fight each other do their own negotiations and sort out their own problems. Because when you have external players coming in, it always makes things complicated. They may come in with, good hearts. They may come in with good intentions, noble intentions. But sometimes the nature of problems, you are better off leaving the individuals or the warring parties or the disputing parties to get on with each other. I mean, a typical example is what we've seen with North Korea, South Korea. After many years of United States involvement, it has become clear that the only people who will be able to address this problem is the North Koreans and the South Koreans themselves, and the rest of the world should leave them. I mean, you can give them all the necessary support, the logistics, maybe some assurances here and there, that sort of thing. But immediately you get some other parties, because I don't want to come across as disrespectful. But if you look at American culture, for instance, it's quite a pretty violent culture. It's quite a pretty violent culture that they believe in might, the right of might. Now, if you have that sort of influence in a situation like that, it's going to be difficult. Remember, this is a country that they feel it's okay for any idiot to own a gun. You won't find that in any other country in the rest of the world. But for them, it sits comfortably with them. And that psyche is there. So when you have a party like that influencing the processes, it's going to be difficult. Because their first option is that we got to arm you before we even sit down and start talking about anything. And that's always a problem.
Well, that is always go on. Just land and then
because like I was saying yesterday, whenever we've had these sort of problems in Africa, what do? We make sure that even the government or the rebels that is in the African context, both parties are deprived of access to new flow of weapons. That is the starting point. You deprive both parties of new flow of weapons. And then whatever they have that they are using, you employ upon them to lay them down, and then you start talking. But when you have a situation where one party is significantly more powerful than the other, and the party that is less powerful in terms of military access and so on and so forth is now being never-ending. It's not having a never-ending feed and flow of weapons. It makes it very difficult because, like you stated yesterday, all of these weapons that are being given to people who are trained or untrained, nobody knows their background. Where are they going to end up?
When we finish, you see what will happen.
You see, so Europe is also building another problem for itself, because whenever this ends, you got to ask yourself, where are all these weapons going to go? Now you remember, you have the free movement of people already in most parts of mainland Europe. So these weapons could easily start moving across borders, because these are not, shall we say, a bottle of yogurt that will go out of date in the next 48 hours or 72 hours. These things are going to be around for a very long time. And don't be surprised if they end up on certain streets in major European capitals. Because there are some odious characters over there. I think we haven't forgotten about that.
Well. Listen. Good day to you, Felix. Good day to you.
Thanks, Kojo.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. It's gone a minute after 1. I know Felix is gone, but quickly, Kojo, just maybe your final words before we go.
Well, mine will be the plight of people of color. At the moment, that's what I would probably. I wanted us to
look at that. We touched on it yesterday.
I just wanted to put it out there again that at the moment some are completely cut off. I mean, I heard previously when Yomi was doing his segment, he talked about the plane hasn't still landed in Nigeria, but the issue, as you know, I've been in contact with the Ghanaian contingent, which were trying to visit them. But the problem they have is that people are in different cities and different parts of Ukraine, and some of them have been completely cut off. They can't even make their way down to Kiev or Kiev, or down to Lviv to get across the border. And So they are going towards different places. Some are going to Moldova, some are going to Romania, some are going
to
down
Latvia,
to Czech Republic, some are going towards Poland, which obviously that is the most crowded place because it's the shortest from the capital. So, so those logistics problems are hampering the evacuation of some of the people. So that may be the reason why some decided to stay put. Until everything settles down. Then if you settle down, then they'll find their way out. But again, I'm concerned about a lot of the racism being shown to people who are not blue eye and blonde hair. So it worries, kind of very worrying. In Ukraine itself, you have a black person who is an MP. So there's a black MP, and there are quite a kind of number of black people. He is mixed race of a Congolese parent and a Ukrainian mother. So so you have quite a number of black people who are also in other mixed race people who are in other responsible positions, and black doctors all around the place. But some of them can definitely not move. Some are involved in banking and all that. They can't move because of the way the situation is. They've been hemmed in. So one famous one that you know, which is Sunday Adelaja, he can't even move. The bridge from his house to
it's one of the bridges that were blown up.
It's blown up. So there is no way he can even leave his house. So such a person, what are you going to do? And there was another one I spoke to. He can't also move from his house because it's right into the north of Kiev. So those are logistic problems. I know of families that split up, husband and wife who split up. The wife headed towards Romania and the husband headed towards Moldova. So that is the situation on the ground. So I think our prayers are with all of them. Every person who is trying to move out of the country, we pray that they are able to move out. And once that is come to light, that there's some racism also taking place, I think that had its fair share of effect on the racist elements.
Wow.
So I will probably leave it there and say very good afternoon to everybody.
Yes, good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for your contribution this afternoon. Have a lovely day.
Yeah, same to you.
Well, listeners, that was Kojo D and Felix adding their voice to the discussions today. As you know, we're going to bring the program to a close. But I hope that you enjoyed it and you've been educated. As we say, we bring you programs, and that educates, informs you, educates you, entertains you. Okay, so we call it edutainment. All right, then. So that is all that we've done for you today. But remember, this afternoon, in the next 24 minutes, we're going to be bringing you BB Means Business. Stay tuned and don't you go away. But exactly tomorrow morning, another edition of the morning show will be taking place. On that note, let me say thank you very much, and God richly bless you. Keep safe. If you're listening to us in this part of the world, Ukraine, those areas, wherever you are, it's a war-torn country, or those of you who are trying to leave Ukraine to other places, if you're listening to us, we pray that you all have your travels, safe travels to wherever your destinations are, and may you keep yourself safe as well. On that note, I say thank you very much once again. It's been me, Archie, and Kojo D, Felix, and Olayomi saying have a top of the day. Bye bye for now.